Hi, I'm Adeline. Hi, I'm Adeline. Before we continue, I just want to mention that 97.8% of the people watching our videos aren't subscribed. So if you enjoy our stories, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us keep making more videos for you. Now back to my story. I never thought family could betray you in your most vulnerable moment. But here we are. My husband Greg and I were expecting our first child, and everything was going according to plan. Until it wasn't. "You're sure you'll be okay with Vanessa while I'm gone?" Greg asked, zipping his overnight bag. "The conference is only 2 days, and the baby isn't due for another week." I rubbed my swollen belly. "We'll be fine. Your sister promised to stay with me and drive me to the hospital if anything happens." "Vanessa can be flaky sometimes." Greg frowned, running his hand through his dark hair. "Remember my birthday last year? She was 3 hours late to the dinner she organized." "Don't be silly," I interrupted. "Your presentation could lead to that promotion. We need that with the baby coming. Besides, Vanessa swore she'd take this seriously." "I made her promise 3 times," Greg said, kissing my forehead. "And Mom made her swear too. She knows how important this is. See? Everyone's on board. Now go knock 'em dead at that conference." That night, I felt the first contractions. They were mild, but definitely real. "Hey, Vanessa," I called, knocking on the guest room door. "I think it's starting." She opened the door in silk pajamas, her blonde hair perfectly styled even at midnight. "Really? Should we go to the hospital?" "Not yet. Dr. Evans said to wait until contractions are 5 minutes apart." "Great." Vanessa smiled too brightly. "I have brunch plans tomorrow with the girls from my yoga class. I've been trying to get into their circle for months." "But what if things progress quickly?" I asked, leaning against the wall as another contraction tightened my abdomen. "First babies take forever. You'll be fine. I'll keep my phone on vibrate," she said, examining her manicure. "Bethany Campbell will be there. You know, the real estate agent who handles all those luxury listings. This could be huge for my interior design business." "Vanessa, you promised Greg—" "And I meant it," she interrupted. "But we're talking about hours and hours of labor. I'll be back before anything exciting happens. Trust me." Morning came, and the contractions intensified. By 9 a.m., they were 7 minutes apart. "Vanessa," I called, gripping the doorframe of her room. No answer. I checked my phone for a message. There was one. "Popped out for brunch, back by 1. If emergency, call 911 XOXO. My hands shook as I dialed Greg, but it went straight to voicemail. His presentation must have started. I called my best friend Melissa next. "Mel, I need help," I gasped through a contraction. "Adeline, what's wrong?" Her voice instantly went from cheerful to concerned. "I'm in labor. Greg's away and Vanessa left for brunch. The contractions are getting closer." "What? She left you alone?" "I'm coming right now, but I'm across town. It'll take me 40 minutes. Should I call an ambulance?" Another contraction hit, harder this time. I felt something wet trickle down my leg. "My water just broke," I whispered, panic rising. "And I think there's something wrong. There's blood." "I'm calling 911, Melissa said firmly. "Stay on the line with me." "I'm scared, Mel," I admitted, my voice breaking. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." "I know, sweetie. The ambulance is on its way. Just keep breathing. Tell me about the nursery again, the one with the woodland creatures Greg painted." The pain intensified as I waited for help, alone on my bathroom floor. By the time the ambulance arrived, I was barely conscious from blood loss. Later, I learned I'd suffered a placental abruption, a serious complication that could have killed both me and my baby. As I was wheeled into emergency surgery, one thought crystallized in my mind. Vanessa had chosen brunch over my life and my child's, and she would pay for that choice. 3 weeks after my emergency C-section, I sat in Dr. Evans's office, my healthy baby girl sleeping in her carrier beside me. "Adeline, I'm glad to see you recovering well," Dr. Evans said, her kind eyes serious behind her glasses. "But I'm concerned about what happened. Why were you alone during active labor?" I explained about Vanessa's abandonment. "Let me get this straight," Dr. Evans said, leaning forward. her silver-streaked hair falling across her forehead. You were explicitly promised someone would stay with you, and instead she went to brunch? She said first babies take forever, I replied, my voice brittle. Dr. Evans frowned. The placental abruption could have been catastrophic without prompt medical attention. If you'd been alone much longer. She hesitated, glancing at my sleeping daughter. I've seen cases where both mother and child didn't make it. I want documentation, I said firmly. For legal purposes. She nodded. I'll prepare a detailed medical report. What your sister-in-law did was serious negligence. She made a few notes in my file. How's your husband handling all this? He's devastated, angry, but he keeps saying at least we're both okay. And that's what matters most, Dr. Evans agreed. But accountability matters too. Later that day, Melissa came over to help with the baby. Have you heard from Vanessa since? She asked, cradling my daughter. She sent flowers to the hospital with a card saying, sorry I missed it. Like she'd skipped a lunch date, not abandoned me during a life-threatening emergency. That's beyond irresponsible, Melissa scowled, her dark eyes flashing with anger. What does she think this is, forgetting to water your plants? You could have died. Have you told Greg everything? She asked, gently rocking the baby. The full extent of what happened? Not yet. He's just so happy the baby's healthy, and Vanessa's always been his blind spot. You need to tell him, Adeline, Melissa insisted. And then you need to press charges. My phone rang. Greg's mother, Eleanor. Adeline, darling, how's my grandbaby? Listen, Vanessa feels just terrible about the whole misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I echoed. She left me alone in labor after promising to take me to the hospital. Well, she didn't realize how serious it was. You know, Vanessa, social obligations are important to her. She's always been so focused on her career networking. More important than my life? Than your granddaughter's? Come now, dear, Eleanor said, her voice taking on that patronizing tone I'd grown to detest. We all know Vanessa can be self-centered, but she's family. Eleanor sighed. Don't be dramatic, dear. Everything turned out fine. I nearly died, Eleanor. The doctors said another 30 minutes and... Vanessa's planning a wonderful baby shower to make it up to you. Can't you just let bygones be bygones? I hung up, hands shaking with rage. It was clear where Vanessa had learned to avoid accountability. After calming down, I called Greg's cousin Rachel, who had witnessed Vanessa agreeing to stay with me. Of course I remember, Rachel said. At the family barbecue, she specifically promised Greg she'd take you to the hospital if needed. We all heard it. Would you be willing to provide a statement? Absolutely. What Vanessa did was unforgivable. Greg's been there for her through everything. Her divorce, losing that big design contract. And this is how she repays him? I appreciate it, Rachel. I know family loyalty runs deep. This isn't about loyalty, Rachel replied firmly. It's about right and wrong, and what Vanessa did was wrong. Period. That evening, I finally showed Greg the medical report. The doctors said another 30 minutes without treatment, and we might have lost the baby, I said quietly. Maybe me too. Greg's face drained of color. Why didn't you tell me sooner? You were so happy about the baby, I didn't want to ruin it. And I know how close you and Vanessa are. Were, he corrected, his jaw tight. I'm calling Vanessa right now, he growled, reaching for his phone. Wait, I said. I've been gathering evidence. This isn't just about a family dispute anymore. Your sister's negligence nearly killed us. 1 month later, we invited Vanessa to our home. She breezed in with a gift bag and air kisses. There's my precious niece, she cooed. Auntie Vanessa brought you a designer onesie. Sit down, Vanessa, Greg said coldly. We need to talk, she pouted, sinking onto our couch. Why so serious? I thought this was a celebration. I placed a folder on the coffee table between us. This is a medical report detailing the placental abruption I experienced, and documentation of the emergency surgery that saved our lives. Vanessa blinked. I don't understand. You left me alone in labor, I said evenly, after explicitly promising to take me to the hospital. I didn't think it was that urgent, she protested. First babies take forever. Everyone knows that. Greg leaned forward. You abandoned your responsibilities to go to brunch, Vanessa. It was an important networking opportunity. Besides, everything turned out fine, didn't it? No, I said firmly. It didn't. I nearly bled to death on my bathroom floor. Vanessa's eyes widened. You're being dramatic. Dr. Evans estimates another 30 minutes without medical attention, and both Adeline and the baby might have died, Greg said, his voice shaking. Vanessa's facade cracked slightly. How was I supposed to know that would happen? You weren't, I replied, but you were supposed to be there in case anything went wrong. That was the whole point. So, what is this? She asked, gesturing at the folder. Are you trying to make me feel guilty? Fine, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, I countered. It was a choice. You chose brunch over your commitment. What do you want from me? Vanessa snapped. I said I'm sorry. We're filing a civil suit against you for negligence, Greg said quietly. And the police want to speak with you about reckless endangerment. Vanessa shot to her feet. You can't be serious. We're family. Family doesn't abandon family, I replied. Mom will never forgive you for this, Vanessa hissed at Greg. Mom knows everything, he responded. She's disappointed, but she understands this is necessary. This is insane. Vanessa's voice rose. It was one mistake. A mistake that nearly cost 2 lives, Greg said. Vanessa pointed a trembling finger at me. This is your doing. You've turned my brother against me. You did that yourself, I replied calmly. You'll regret this, she snarled, grabbing her purse. No one will side with you over me. I'll make sure everyone knows what a vindictive bitch you are. As she stormed toward the door, Greg called after her. Any threats will only strengthen the case against you, Vanessa. She whirled around, face contorted with rage. I should have left you there longer. Maybe then I wouldn't have to deal with either of you. The room fell silent as we all processed her words. You should leave now, I said quietly, and expect a call from Officer Carter tomorrow. 6 months later, I sat in the courtroom as the judge delivered her verdict. The court finds the defendant guilty of reckless endangerment and negligence, she announced. Miss Johnson will pay damages of $75,000, serve 200 hours of community service at the maternal health clinic, and remain on probation for 2 years. Vanessa sat rigid at the defense table, her previously supportive friends noticeably absent. The story had spread quickly through our community, and few were willing to defend her actions once the details became known. Outside the courthouse, Melissa squeezed my hand. How are you feeling? Vindicated, I replied, but mostly relieved it's over. Greg joined us, having just spoken with his parents. They're processing everything still, but they support us. Dad said he's ashamed of how they raised Vanessa to never face consequences. Officer Carter approached us with a professional nod. Mrs. Collins, justice was served today. Your case may help others take these situations more seriously. That's my hope, I replied, bouncing my now 9-month-old daughter on my hip. Later that evening, as I was putting the baby down, the doorbell rang. Greg answered it, and I heard Vanessa's voice. Please, I just want to talk to her, she was saying. I stepped into the hallway. It's okay, Greg. I'll hear what she has to say. In our living room, Vanessa looked smaller somehow, her designer outfit replaced by something simple and unassuming. Adeline, I know you hate me, she began. But I've had time to reflect. I was self-centered and irresponsible. The counseling sessions the court ordered have helped me see that. I'm glad you're getting help, I said neutrally. The therapist says I have narcissistic tendencies, Vanessa continued, that I've never learned to put others first, but I'm working on it. That's good for you, I replied. I want to make amends, she continued, to be part of my niece's life, to rebuild our family. I studied her face. Vanessa, I don't hate you, but I don't trust you either. I understand, but people can change. They can, I agreed. And I hope you do. But that doesn't mean you get to be in our lives again. But we're family, she protested. Family is more than blood, I replied. It's being there when it matters most. You proved you couldn't be counted on. I'm different now, she insisted. Please, just give me another chance. The consequences of your actions aren't just legal, Vanessa. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Greg placed a supportive hand on my shoulder. I think you should leave now. Tears filled her eyes. Will you ever forgive me? Maybe someday I'll forgive you, I said honestly. But I will never forget, and I will never trust you with anything I value again. After she left, Melissa called to check in. How did it go with Vanessa? Exactly as expected, I replied. She wanted absolution more than genuine reconciliation. Are you okay with how everything turned out? She asked. I looked at the nursery where my daughter slept peacefully. Yes. This was never about vengeance. It was about justice and boundaries. You're stronger than I knew, Melissa said. Not stronger, I corrected. Just clear about what matters now. What would you do if someone you trusted abandoned you in your moment of greatest need? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of justice served.